today have such a profound and deep topic to talk about. So let's dive into it. Today's topic is universal law, the one great universal law and the seven subsidiary laws. Okay, let's get into it, you guys. I'm so excited. The one great law. Energy is period. Everything is energy. Your state of being is energy. Your physical body is energy. The person next to you is energy. Your house, your apartment, the blood that courses through your veins, the ocean, the moon, the moonlight, the sunlight, light, sound, everything is energy, including the thoughts that go on in your head. Okay? And what's crazy about this, people back before modern tools were invented, they kind of perceived that energy is everything. They concluded this after living so immersed in the world without technology as a distraction that they kind of, in an attempt to explain how things work, have concluded that energy is everything. They have proven with science that these theories are actually true. And you can go read peer-reviewed, scholarly, scientific journals where they have tested this and have proven it. Now that you know that, let's dive into the first subsidiary law. And that is the law of perpetual transmutation and radiant energy. What this basically boils down to is energy is always changing and it is always in motion. And it radiates. That means that it can travel. It's not contained. It's not confined. It is constantly changing and it is always radiating out into space. So the only constant here is change, which is very paradoxical, but you'll come to understand that a lot of things in life are very paradoxical. They're paradoxes. Like how can you be constant but the constant is always changing? But you understand it. Your brain is able to understand this theory, and it's so useful with whatever you're struggling with as a woman, as a goddess, as a human being. It is so useful. Nothing is at rest. Okay? Everything is constantly changing. So what does this mean? If you're constantly waking up every day in your life and you are thinking the same negative things, like let's say you had a bad relationship 5 years ago and you're still struggling to get over it, you wake up every day and you're almost reliving that exact scenario of the relationship in your head. You begin a date with that mindset. When you start thinking about progressing in your dating life, you constantly go back to that one bad relationship. And this is common, okay? It's human nature when you have been through something traumatic like a narcissistic relationship or a toxic, situation that consumed a lot of your time and energy, But here is a solution to that. And here's another paradox about that. If energy never rests and it's constantly changing, but you are constantly thinking the same thing every day, it's like you're running on a hamster wheel. You are exerting a lot of energy by thinking about this, by reliving the painful emotions. You are running true. However, you are not getting anywhere. You are not making any progress. You are not elevating to new and better situations that are at your fingertips every single second of every single day. This was also talked about in the book by Dr. Joe Dispenza, You Are the Placebo. These theories are not just mentioned by one writer, one scientist, one doctor, one author. This is proving to be universal. The good news is that you can change that. Now, I want you to challenge yourself. When you find yourself in that same old rut, thinking and reliving the same old nasty emotions from the same person that broke your heart or did you wrong, I want you to observe that and to be mindful of that. And just remember the first subsidiary law of the universe. Nothing is at rest. Energy is constantly in motion. So what can you do today to get off that hamster wheel and go on an actual walk where you are going from point A to point B instead of in a cycle, where you reach a destination that is different and more lovely and more pleasant than your current location? Okay? Subsidiary law number 2. We have the law of relativity, also known as the law of comparison. A situation, it is not negative or positive unless it is compared to another situation. For example, you lost your job during the pandemic, but you received unemployment assistance from the government. That's valid. I'm never going to take away anybody's feeling, anybody's reaction to a situation. However, I want to encourage you to compare that to someone who's never been able to get a job because maybe they live in a country that has absolutely no purpose for them, no opportunities for them, and they don't even have unemployment government assistance. When you look at it that way, the pandemic and the unemployment assistance that you're receiving, that is a dream. That is like heaven on earth in comparison to someone else with a worse situation. Now, some people don't like this. They say, don't compare yourself to other people. But that is a law of the universe. You will instantly feel better, but not only feel better in a selfish way, but you will have so much more gratitude for your position in life. And now you will see your position as such a blessing, whereas before you saw it as a curse. And so the law of relativity, it's a very important one, and it's one that can immediately get you out of a funk, get you out of being unappreciative, get you out of feeling like you're unlucky. Because in comparison, you actually may be so lucky, and someone else might want to trade positions with you in a heartbeat. Keep that in mind whenever you feel something negative. Think about a situation that could be much worse. And I guarantee you, you'll start to look at your life with a more appreciative lens. Okay, let's move on to subsidiary law number 3, the law of vibration. Now, I like to break this law down as the law of resonance. Let's go back to the great universal law for a second here. If everything is energy, does everything travel in the same frequency? Absolutely not. And you know this when you think of radio stations. If you want to listen to a certain station that plays certain music, you go to a certain frequency. That is the same with everything else in life. There are different degrees of energy that is put out and different degrees of how it may or may not resonate with something else. If I speak to you in Spanish and you don't understand Spanish and I insult you, is that going to resonate with you? No, you're not even going to understand what that person said, so you're not going to accept it, and you're not going to feel bad. You're not going to feel insulted. You're just going to stare at them with a blank face, like, and then you're going to go about your day like nothing happened. This law is useful in helping you not be frustrated when somebody does not resonate with your frequency. Perhaps they are operating at such a lower frequency that you come in and you're very positive, and you might even give them really good advice, and they see your smiling face and your shining light, and they are offended by you. They are disgusted. They are offended. Like, how dare you come in here with that smiling goddess face, goddess energy, with your beautiful dress and your makeup and hair done? How dare you? Your beauty does not resonate with that person. And this could also happen in relationship with a man. If a man is in his feminine energy and he's very insecure about himself, and he sees your radiating feminine shining energy, he's going to become, well, he could become many things, but a general reaction that I've noticed is a very feminine, non-masculine man will resonate with a very lovely, in her feminine goddess, is with either anger or with competition. And neither of those are good. We don't want to be with angry, insecure men, and we don't want to be with feminine men that try to compete with us and try to out-feminize us. And what I mean by that, here's a good example. When a non-masculine man tries to out-feminize you as a woman, this is what happens. Okay, remember, as a female, our general state is to receive. An egg receives the sperm. The egg does not travel to the sperm. An egg does not travel outside of a woman's body and go into the man's body and chase the sperm. That is a fact. That does not happen. The sperm does come outside of a man's body, goes into a woman's body, and chases, but not only chases, swims for dear life amongst millions of other sperm to compete to get into that egg. So when a man is in his ultra feminine, insecure, broken self, he will try to out receive the woman. He will make the woman do everything for him, including paying the bills, cooking him food, doing his laundry, being the first to initiate contact, texting first, calling first. A super feminine man will sit back and never call first and never text first, but he'll always answer when you come knocking along as a pick me woman, like, oh my gosh, like me, I want you to like me. And that woman is now being in her masculine mode. And now she's coming out of the body and going into the man's body and trying to chase his sperm. That's very unnatural. That goes against the law of energy in terms of the law of vibration and resonance. That doesn't resonate well in the natural world, because women are not supposed to give to a man in every single aspect. Now, she can give to a man, she can give him the feeling of delight, joy, and harmony. She can turn a house into a home. She can give things like that, but she does not constantly give. She doesn't constantly initiate. She doesn't chase. But a super feminine man will sit back and wait, and he'll be super passive, and he won't take control of the situation. He's too scared and or lazy because he's been spoiled by very masculine women that chase, and he knows that there's another masculine woman around the corner that will chase him, so he doesn't have to chase any woman that's in her feminine, and he will out-feminize you. I've seen it happen. And what is sad about these situations is that the man thinks he has it made and he thinks that he won because, oh, I made this woman do everything for me and I didn't have to lift a finger. But now he's going against his masculine nature, which is to provide, which is to exercise strength, which is to go out there and prove to himself that he can do things, that he can hunt, that he can build a home, that he can exert his physical force and energy into procuring, gathering, and making something out of nothing and bringing it back for his woman to provide for her. He will eventually get really turned off by that as the years go on. For example, have you ever seen a man? Typically, these feminine men, in my experience, are really good looking. And so they will have these kind of like, you know, these women may not even be ugly. They may be gorgeous, but they have low self esteem and they're not in tune with their feminine energy. And so they have a woman like that do everything for him, make him his lunch for work, drop him off at work, pick him up from work, rub his feet when he gets home, pay for the bills. A lot of these men don't even work. They have the women work for them. And that might work for years due to laziness on the man's part. But eventually, what always tends to happen is the man realizes somewhere along the line, like, whoa, this is really unattractive to me. And I don't actually like this woman. I am just using her because she's willing to lay down on the line for me and give me every single thing that I want. And I don't have to exert my force or energy or effort. And what ends up happening is he leaves her. These women always get left. Always. It could be 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years later. They think they have this man in the bag, that he's not going anywhere. And then boom, he ups and leaves, even though she did everything for him. It's very heartbreaking, honestly. Like, I would not wish this on any woman. But who does that man end up going for after all these years? He goes for the super feminine woman that makes him put in effort and chase after her. Why? Because this is the natural way of masculinity and femininity. That's just how it is, you guys. And so that was a really long explanation for law number 3, but 3 is my favorite number, so I'm gonna roll with it. The law of vibration, the law of resonance, okay? There are different degrees. People will only resonate to certain frequencies that you put out depending on their own frequency. Not every frequency goes together. So I think I'm going to save laws 4, 5, 6, and 7 for part 2. As I realize this video has been kind of long, but I know it's a lot to digest. So I will be making a part 2. And if you guys didn't see my earrings, I freaking love these earrings. It's a Van Gogh Starry Night in like a really cute frame. I love you guys and happy goddessing out there. Stay beautiful.